pec decks and so forth, okay? Everybody know what a pec deck is? That's a machine that helps us emulate a dumbbell fly from a vertical position. All right, you're doing a fly motion. So, anyways, this is not so critical with your seat height because, remember, I pick on bodybuilders, but I embrace them at the same time. They know their stuff about changing an angle, either leaning forward into a motion or leaning back to even tailor what fibers will be recruited more so than the rest. And I don't want to get too deep into it, but these arms, this is what we call a hermaphroditic machine. It does a couple of different motions, but if you're doing the motion to emulate a dumbbell fly, you want to be in tension all the time. So I have a left shoulder. If you're coaching somebody, oh, I can't do that, the arms are too far back. Say that's bunk. I got a sore left shoulder. I'll just grab it when I'm standing up. Did I hurt my shoulder? No. Then I'll go grab this one with the shoulder that's not sore, and then I can do my motion, right? Everybody see that? Did I hurt my left shoulder? I have an actively torn rotator cuff. No. Counter them with reason, nicely, with a smile, but if they tell you they can't do something, say, I think you can. So, of course, you're emulating a dumbbell fly. Okay? Your prime movers here, not so distinct, but you're going to have the upper part of your pec and front delt. Okay? Being a machine, machines, you don't get a lot of stabilization action. Okay? Now, what this also does, though, with these arms as far forward, like this, you can face the machine and then flare out. And you don't need a death grip on anything. Little bend in my arms, and I'm coming back. What I'm doing here kind of looks like a swimming motion. This is what we call a prone fly. If I was going to do a prone fly with dumbbells, I would have a prone fly bench at a well-equipped gym, that we don't. A prone fly bench looks like a regular bench. It's usually higher off the ground and really thin. The bee used to have one. It looked like an ironing board. So, what a prone fly would look like, and I don't have my dumbbells, but say I had a dumbbell in each hand, gang, okay? I'd put my head in my lap and bring my dumbbells like this, laterally and slightly to the rear. Do you see that? The machine did the motion for me. When I'm doing a fly or a prone fly, notice I always had a little bit of bend in my arm. That usually helps with the body mechanics. Again, self-spotting machines can be abused easily though too. Everybody's seen people yanking and cranking and all that. If you're coaching somebody, be classy and do it nice. Do it clean, do it efficiently. All right. Now, I just mentioned that the Light Fitness gear didn't have the lever adjustments. The leg press, for some reason, they didn't do the other adjustment like this. So with a leg press, this will move up or down. And if somebody's not paying attention when you're showing them this, they'll grab this and go, wow, I don't feel any resistance on the machine. And you'll go, because you're engaging the seat adjustment. Anyways, I'm an advocate of full range of motion. So when I'm coaching somebody on a leg press, I want to get them close to their work. Okay? Try to get a 90-degree attitude here and here. If they've never done any leg work before, same with anything, I'm not going to put a lot of weight on the apparatus until I know what their body will tolerate. But if you're introducing somebody to a piece of gear, you don't want to confuse them too much also. But any of you that have been around the gym a while, feet shoulders width apart is kind of an entry-level stance, as if you're going to do a squat, okay? Never have somebody hyperextend their knees. Clearly you want a little bit of bend in the knee. Now, what's kind of neat is, if winter ever leaves and summer ever decides to come, and the sun shines for more than 2 minutes a day, this is weather terrible, I'm glad we're in a classroom today because it stinks outside. Anyways, invariably people are gonna wanna wear shorts. And your female clients, hey, I want my legs and my arms to look better. Well, a couple of things you can do on leg press to help them with that goal. Okay, it's not gonna be instantaneous, of course, but if the person, it could be a male too, if they're concerned about the inner portion of their quads, a quick way to direct training to that is to go to what we call a sumo stance. Everybody see that? Anna, do you see where my feet are? Okay, a sumo stance, to bring forth the movement, you're gonna be recruiting the muscles more medially of the quads, okay? Now, if an outer sweep is desired, okay, feet together and knees together will help bring about that end, okay? It's not gonna be instantaneous, but if a client has time to do multiple sets of leg, because think about it, they probably walked under their own power, 3 or 4 sets of leg press wouldn't be excessive, right? Because everybody walked in on their own power if they're not in a wheelchair. So that's just some food for thought. When I was in my bodybuilding days, I never did have big legs. I had pretty good symmetry, but my legs were my worst body part. So bodybuilding is all illusion too, of trying to look as big as possible on a stage. A lot of people are let down when they see bodybuilders. They'll go, oh, you're short. You know, they look really big on stage. Usually the shorter bodybuilders are more successful because the more weight they have and less of space, they can make themselves look larger. But one of the things I did when I was doing my squatting, I'd have my heels elevated, Anna, like you said, with a lift. So with the heels elevated and my feet, ankles, and knees together, I'd wear the squat bar in front of me. So the bar would be across into what's called front squats. And those can really help push the outer sweep of the quad out to make your legs appear wider. Now, a lot of women don't want their legs to appear wider, but some of them do. You see all kinds of shapes and sizes. There's very few people out there that have excellent symmetry. Those that do, you should call them lucky and congratulate them. I remember when Norm was running the B, or at that time it was the Powerhouse Gym, he had some pictures of some amateur bodybuilders about the gym, and there was this one blonde gal, and her symmetry was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. I wish I could remember what her name was. It was Laura something. And she married a rich old guy and took off. So I don't think she's out there. Norm, do you talk to Norm at all?
Well, he's in Tennessee right now.
Okay. If you see him though, tell him I said hi and said, Norm, who was that bodybuilder that Zach liked that had perfect symmetry? She was a little blonde and just one of these naturals. She'd touch a weight and she'd get definition. I mean, just the right genetic brew going on. We've all seen those people. We all hate them, you know, but anyways. Yep, I wish I knew what her name was. It was Laura something, I think. But anyways, come on, gang. Come on over with me here. And I did want to mention, with both apparatus, we're going to be having movement both in the sagittal and the frontal planes with those two. My apology there. Now, our chest press is in a vertical configuration. Some people think that's weird. In a college that serves a diverse population, it's not. Because who else might you be lucky enough to train?
Elderly.
Who else?
Children.
Handicapped.
Not too many children here. Handicapped. If somebody's in a wheelchair, is there any reason they shouldn't train their chest?
They need to train.
Hell yes, they need to train. You better believe it. This is nice that somebody in a wheelchair can make the transition not gracefully and easily, but better than some of the other pieces of gear. So, again, the nicely designed gear, the seat height of 5 works well for me. You want somebody's feet to be solid if they're doing a chest press. I'm tall enough where I can have my feet on the floor, but again, the good engineering from Life Fitness, they got the non-slip surface here, so if somebody's short in stature, feet here or here. And I did want to notice, do you see next to the pec deck, the Reebok step, I have that there for a reason. If somebody is short in stature, I'll bring a step out and, you know, like I said, all of our crew here, everybody that I work with is very good with people. They have to be. And so it's nice, we all lend a hand, and if we see, and again, we don't beat, we're not arrogant. If we do corrective feedback to somebody, it's always with a smile, more a phrase like, hey, can I help you with, you know, let me help you with something here, I'm gonna make this better. And usually they acquiesce to it. Whereas, you know, in some gyms it's condescending, you know, hey dumbass, do it, you know, you don't wanna, we're a nonprofit. We have to be nice to everybody, but it's easier to be nice to people than be condescending, you know what I'm saying? As a personal trainer, the nicer you are, the more clients you'll have. But anyways, getting back to the chest press, again, if you have a really short person, get them a step, okay? You want a solid base, and you want to be back, and again, the bodybuilders, with a lot of their knowledge, they'll say sometimes you can scrunch down or be higher, hit different parts of the pec. Here, we don't have any bodybuilders, or if they do, they're our guests, and they're not gonna try to impose their will on other people. But generally, you want to be in the saddle and so forth. Now, you do have an adjustment here as well, forward and back. If somebody has an enormous chest, clearly you'll have to have the handle farther out so they can get a hold of it. My preference when I'm training somebody, if they can't get their hands back there, I can do that with one hand. I'll pull it forward for them so they can get their hands there, but when they come back, it'll be in tension. Everybody see that? Okay, just like on the pec deck. I want to be in tension all the time. I don't want it to come to rest. Of course, this is extension, of course. Now, you can do other things with this machine also. Like I said, if you don't have what you want, you got to make it work, okay? We mentioned doing some supersetting. I said I'd hop off of my stationary bar on the VKR to do some bent over rows. Okay? If I really want to go after my bent over rows, and I know nobody's not using any machine here, I'll run over, place my knees on the edge of the saddle, head up. I'm doing a bent over row, what? From a vertical configuration now. Anybody ever seen that done?
Nice.
Nice, huh? You make do with what you got. All right. This is a crunch.